All right, let's get started because no countdown today. Sorry about the lateness. And here we go. All right, let me turn this music down. Hi, happy Wednesday, hump day on the Morning Night Live. I am where I'm so far behind. You know how you kind of have to prepare for vacations, and because we have a house sitter coming, so we have to clean our house for one, and then you have to pack, and you got to get laundry done, and I'm not ready for it, and we're leaving in tomorrow night. Ugh. And I'm a little stressed about what's coming up after my vacation now. I wasn't before. And yesterday I had my, pre-op physical, whatever. And now I don't know why I'm nervous about it, but I just am. Just the whole thought of pain and just nervous about, finances over the next couple months, whatever. We'll get through it, but it's one of those things, Anyway, let's talk about stuff, and we'll do that right after the intro. Turn that music off. Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yep, that would be me. Stop the music. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we are going to talk about the Climate Change Reduction Act, is what it should have been called, because I don't know about the inflation part. I mean, inflation has come down. The president is celebrating just these lowered cost of energy and prescription drugs and everything. He saved the world. And it's kind of humorous, actually, because he hasn't really lowered the cost of, hasn't really lowered anything. Lowered from highs during his presidency. Now, I don't know. It's funny because a lot of people will say, he had nothing to do with the inflation. Inflation's high all over the world, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then why are you taking credit for it when it goes down? It's kind of funny. The president has nothing to do with the gas prices unless the gas prices come down, because he's done nothing to make that happen. But anyway, let's just get started because I'm so late, and I'll run over a little bit today, but I can't. I got to get stuff done. First in chat over on Rumble is Avocados Diablo, gets the bell, but unfortunately Rumble's not working. I must have done a bad thing with the stream key. I have no idea. So we'll see, whatever. And then also I think who else was over there? Mike Savage was over there. In fact, let me look. I'll just look. It was Mike Savage. Yes, good morning, and thanks for joining us over there. So just AD and Mike Savage, and there's 8 people watching over there, but they would have been watching had I did something right. But I'm having a morning. Let's just put it that way. All right, on YouTube, first to chat. Also, Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Good morning, also to we have a mild name change. Good morning to the Grand Inquisitor, Tyre Alexander. Yes, good morning, sir. Also, good morning to Hig from the home base of Florida. From brutally hot and humid Orlando, by the way. Also, good morning, Simon Wolfwood. Wait, what? Should I just expect that about every 2 weeks or whatever the limit is for changing it? That will change at this point. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, you must have been talking about something up here. Change his name. Oh, yeah, that threw me off too. Also, good morning. I said hi to Hig, Mike Savage Blarg, Jesse Leon's in the house. Also, good morning to Trippy Liberty. I said Septus Wolf's here. It's going to be, well, I don't know. A few people are here. The notifications are probably just going out. So a lot of you are just going to be, well, people are going to be late. But I'm happy that those of you who are here actually made it, because I actually made it. That's the important thing. If I'm going to do a show, I should probably be here. Why does it say stream starting over there? Oh, that's because I forgot my monitor's way behind. There's my face. I know I'm here. All right. Let's just get into some news today. And, oh, wait, before I do that, thank you, Somnambule Nation and Scribe Light, for retweeting the show. Please share the stream, because we're a little light today. So hit the like button, share the stream, sponsor the show, pdognight.live. You can do super chats too if you'd like, but I prefer pdognight.live just because the other part of the pdognight.live, I can access the cache, and because it's, it's my deal. I just click a button. Whereas YouTube, like, you have to accumulate so much, and you have to put it, you have to wait till the 21st of the month, which I don't even think I have enough in there right now, because most people do Streamlabs and occasional Rumble rant. But anyway, hello, Furry Kid. What's up? Kessler, how you doing? Good morning. I see you popping in. So people have slowly come in, slowly but surely. So let's get into some news. Before I get to news, we're celebrating a birthday today. The lovely and really, I want to say the true, well, I couldn't say true, because I think Eartha Kitt did great. I think even Halle Berry looked good doing it. But the original Catwoman, Julie Newmar. Julie Newmar turns 90 today. Look, I only watched Batman in reruns as a kid on, after school. So I really never, but everyone knew, but I tell you what, Julie Newmar was it, man. She was Catwoman. So she's turned 90 years old today, and I think she's still alive. So anyways, happy birthday, Julie Newmar. She also did guest spots, clearly, here on the Monkees, apparently. And here's a picture of her when she was younger, a 50s art shot of Julie Newmar. And I don't know when this is from, but she turns 90 this week. So happy birthday, Julie Newmar. Just one of those. What is this? Oh, she did what is this? One of the coolest things an actor has ever done was to make a cameo in the film with their name in the title. But Julie Newmar did that. Happy 90th birthday to a legend. And thank you to Wong Fu. Thanks. I don't know what the Wong Fu is, but so anyway, lots of people. Wait, that's not Julie Newmar. That's Tina Louise. Why did they put a Tina Louise picture where Julie Newmar is supposed to be? Anyway, Julie Newmar was. What do you think of? No pun intended. I guess she was a sex kitten of the 50s and 60s. So happy birthday to Julie Newmar. Okay. All right, let's move on to news. Real news. News-esque. Things that are news-esque. Trying to think of a Catwoman I didn't like. Yeah, I got to be honest. The Catwoman character. Oh, wait. Who was the one? There's been several Catwomen. Wong Fu, the crossdresser movie with Swayze. Oh, I've never heard of that. Anyway. So it sounds like, oh wow, now this is a great picture. Look at this. This is she was in okay, I'm going to show one more picture of Julie Newmar. This is when she was young. This is when she was in the movie version of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. There she is. Looking lovely. Gotta love me some Julie Newmar. All right, enough of that. Moving on. So we're going to talk about the Climate Change Reduction Act eventually. But one thing that came up, this is interesting. There's a climate scientist who is basically, the climate scientists are doing some work in Greenland. Okay, Greenland is supposedly this barren wasteland. The glaciers of Greenland are melting because of climate change and whatnot. But there's a bunch of climate scientists there that realizing that as the ice melts and whatever, the glaciers melt, they've been finding tools, campgrounds, whatever. And so it's like this is interesting. So there's a video here of this client scientist was doing some work in Greenland. So I would play this video. It's interesting. I mean, I don't, it seems like exercise, but here we go. Yep. Why is that not playing?
This ice is from the Viking Age, around the year 1000, also called the medieval warm period. We believe that in Greenland, the medieval warm period was about 1.5 degrees warmer on average than today.
Nordgrip, the Greenland ice core project, is being reopened to drill the last few meters through the ice sheet to the rock beneath the research station. The ice core, over 3 kilometers in length, has been hauled up to the surface piece by piece and contains important data on the history of the climate of the Earth.
So I don't know how old this video is, but it's very interesting.
It bears the fingerprints of climatic conditions over more than 120,000 years.
When we remove or drill the ice core, we leave a hole, and we insert a thermometer in the hole. We are able to map out the temperature through the 3-kilometer ice sheet. Now that temperature, if we do it precisely enough, a thousandth of a degree accuracy, then the ice has not forgotten how cold or warm it was on the surface at the time the snow fell. So, using those temperatures,
this is
we have been
fascinating
able
science,
to
by the way.
reconstruct the temperatures of the last 10,000 years.
And they're finding...
Here we have our picture of the temperature reconstructions that we have from Greenland in a graphical form. And if we go back along this axis, it's going back in time. This is the last 8,000 years we have plotted here. On this axis we have the temperatures at the site in Greenland, and we can see that if we go back from now about 4,000 years ago, we would have temperatures up here for about 4,000 years that were 2.5 degrees warmer on average than today.
So that's fascinating to me because I've been saying this for a long time. I always make the joke, global warming ever since the Ice Age, right? Because we had a little ice age in the 1800s, and we've had, we've been warming. I think we're getting back closer. What's happening is we're coming closer to normal. We're at a historical cooling period, and but again, so a difference of 2 degrees, makes a pretty big difference across the world as far as whether or not how much ice remains, whatnot. And I always say, they always make this big deal about the glaciers melting, and if you ever put an ice cube in a glass of water, on the summer, like out on, if you're out by the out on the deck or whatever in the barbecue, and you have a glass of water and the ice is melting, well, that ice starts to melt slowly at the beginning, right? But as it gets warmer, the ice melts faster, right? So it's not unusual that if there's glaciers still melting, they held for such a long time, and now as there's more exposure to different land and whatever, and heat effect from the land, the earth, you're going to see things melting. But anyway, this is fascinating.
Now, as we approach our time, we can see that in the period between 4,000 years ago and back to the period 2,000 years ago, which is actually the Roman age, the temperatures have been decreasing in Greenland by 2.5 degrees.
So again, this is just
then
Greenland, but
temperatures increased gradually up to a maximum point around the medieval warm period. We call it 1,000 years ago.
And that's the warm period they talk about a lot. Okay, that it was warmer then than it is now. But of course, they had the they powered everything by coal and all the combustion engines back 1,000 years ago. That's certainly what caused it. And then they stopped using them. They had an Inflation Reduction Act, which was actually a Climate Change Reduction Act, and so they were successfully able to cool the planet again. I know I'm being silly, but whatever.
Then temperature.
Okay, so that's the end of that. So anyway, just thought I'd preface some of the topic today with that. Hello, Mike. Hello, Those Ain't Real Dude. Hello, Septus Wolf. I think I said hi to you already. Yes, I did. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you all here. All right, so let's get into a few trending topics, and then we'll get into that main topic of the Inflation Reduction Act. So the next thing on the trending list that I have is the Maui fire. We're still talking about Maui, obviously. And, I'm not going to see firsthand when I go next week because I'm going to be in Oahu and then the Big Island. We're going to fly over Maui when we fly from Oahu to the Big Island. So I don't know how much we'll see. I know I've seen people taking video when the fires were still going on. You could see, you could see the fires from the planes because it was so massive. And hello, Selecta Boy. Good morning. Whoops.
Yeah, boy.
So anyway, so Maui's still on people's mind, and obviously this is gonna be a long haul, man. This is really bad, and I don't, I want to tread lightly on criticizing the Biden administration on this because I don't think George Bush got a fair shot during Katrina. But it sure doesn't seem like Biden's very interested in it. As far as, the government's doing what it's supposed to do. They're getting relief efforts out there, but it's not necessarily, as fast as people want it to be. And since we live kind of in an instant gratification of society, everything's at your fingertips. You can order something online and it comes the next day, but it just doesn't work that way logistically, especially in Hawaii. But in some ways they're, stepping on their own dicks, blocking some of the relief that's coming in. So what's happening is the government blocking relief of money, but people are resourceful. And here's how they've been bypassing the restrictions. People have been, I showed you this, the other day. Here, let's mute this. People are bringing resources from the other sides of the island on their own personal watercraft and whatever. There's this like constant flow of people, going back and forth, kind of bypassing the Red Cross and whatnot. So anyway, was the fires caused by Trump? No, they weren't. Ain't much the federal can do. I honestly prefer they're bad at doing shit like this. Yeah, no. And that's just it. The government's not designed to help people. People are designed to help people. And so it's good that they're doing that. Now, there's other videos like this. People talking about the old 15-minute city thing that they wanted to do there. And I don't know. Take these with the giant grain of salt. But here's one of those videos I was talking about where the sudden flash of light comes down and like, what was that? So anyway, I don't know what that is. People are saying that they had a name for them. They're anyway, I don't know what they're called, but let's see. Not everything. This guy's Foxy Crime Scenes. I know this has never happened before ever, and not everything is conspiracy. Fires do not burn evenly or at the same temperature throughout a wildfire. Can we please stick to facts? So this is what is this? Liquefied aluminum rims dramatically display power of Tennessee wildfire. Yes, metal absolutely can melt in fire. That's how you usually make things with metal. You melt them with fire. So the idea that things can't melt, Also, just questions if this fire started naturally. It's what's weird is they keep calling this wildfires. Hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
They keep calling this wildfires, and I don't know that. I always when I hear the word wildfire, I usually think of a fire that's starting in a natural place, usually due to lightning, okay, or usually due to maybe carelessness in a remote place. In a city, I don't know why you would call this a wildfire, because they already knew that a fire had started in Maui. The fire department went and put out a fire, and unfortunately, it was still smoldering. I'm gonna guess that they're gonna figure out that this smoldering fire, exacerbated by the winds, probably caught some other building on fire. They didn't get the fire completely out, and then the winds came and blew what was there into other places and caught a bunch of shit on fire. But we got to wait and see what they figure out. I'm just curious of how they're going to explain this, because I've already heard this is something to do with climate change. Well, no. This is you got to understand the climate on these islands vary greatly, and this part of the island was more of an arid. It's tropical, but it's also arid. It's not a drier area, because there's deserts. There's in fact, on the Big Island, I think 7 of the 9 climates around the world you can find on the Big Island. We're gonna go on a tour of the Big Island while we're there, and maybe I'll take some video while we do it. But there's steppe climate, there's desert climate, there's mountain climate, there's even snow up on the mountain, the volcanoes. The only thing it's not is that there's no Arctic climate there. Obviously, it's an island in the middle of whatever. But so these islands have different climates on different parts of the island, and this part of the island was kind of the drier side, more of a desert type of desert type of climate. And so, and also it was an older town. It's not a resort town. Okay, Lahaina is a town of locals, and remember there is a theory, which I'm not promoting, but I understand that they were talking about how people have been wanting to buy a lot of this land, and they have, the people there just have a pact not to sell it off and make it become a resort town. And I don't believe that this is a fact. I mean, you can't plan a hurricane, right? So anyway, you can see through me. Wait. Why does this shirt has green in it? Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. I wonder if I can fix that. I don't think I can fix that either. Sorry, guys. I look like a window. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can fix that or not. Let's see here. That is funny. Okay. Can I wait, I don't know, configure window. What the hell? Is this what it is? Oh yeah, there we go. Let me see if I can fix that at all. Nope, that don't help. That makes it worse. Holy shit. I don't know if I can fix this. I'm just gonna be, oh, there we go. That help? That helped a little bit. I don't think it matters that much. All right, that's good enough. Anyway, that's why you can see through me. You can see right through me, dude. You can see right through me. All right. So anyway, more on Maui here. Oprah Winfrey has been buying up land in Maui like crazy. We already know that. Lahaina residents have expressed frustration at the pace of aid and supplies reaching them. Here, let's hear from this guy. Oh no! There we go.
Can't even fathom that, like, right on the other side of that wall is, to this day, are corpses. Like, it's literally right there. we can't even really wrap our heads around what's going on.
Locals were having such a hard time even getting in. There were roadblocks set up outside of Lahaina. So there were much needed goods that we were basically deprived of. So people had to break the rules for us to get to this point right now.
There was
and this is where
a lack
the
of response, it felt like, from larger organizations, and we were just looking to get supplies as quickly as possible to where they need to go.
First day that I went into Lahaina, I was a wreck, and I considered myself a strong leader, but it broke me.
I've seen signs up saying looters will be shot. Because obviously,
I mean, talk about national emergency. I mean, you can't mess around right now. I mean, everybody's on edge. Can't even fathom that, like, right on the other side of that wall.
So yeah, there's a lot of frustration there, man. And it's typical with large scale disasters, and especially in an area where it's already hard logistically to get in and out. Here's another disturbing story coming out of Maui. Let's play this one. Obviously, I'm not all that.
So we want to talk about a few things that are missing from the equation of the Hawaiian fire. They're saying that this is climate change, but this lady was talking about how they shut off the water so that people couldn't put out the fires. Also, she mentioned that all the children were home that day because school was canceled.
Well, no. Hold on.
Then we go to
Does Hawaii have year-round school? I'm not so sure about that. This is August. Does school start in Hawaii early or something? I don't know what that means. So some of these things you got to take with a grain of salt.
This guy's video, and he was talking about how people were trying to escape the city and are being turned around by the police officers just due to the power lines that were in the road. So they forcefully told the people to go back into the fires. Now, what's also weird about this whole situation is that this book came out yesterday, Fire and Fury, the story of the 2023 Maui fire and its implications for climate change.
So
you forced the people back into the town while it was burning, turned off the water, altered the weather with geoengineering, and then called it
okay, see, there you go.
So
There's where you go to
ask,
the
who is modifying
geoengineering.
the weather? I'm going to give you a hint. This is the website. This is the link. And look into geoengineering part 1, 2, and 3. If we go to page 4 of this document, it says geoengineering can be described as the deliberate, large-scale modification of the Earth's climate systems.
All right, so this is
so
obviously...
the media is saying that this is all based on the climate, but when I look at this, I'm seeing that the U.S. House of Representatives and Committee of Science and Technology are altering the weather.
Okay, all right, I'm not going to give this credence at this point, but again, sometimes today's conspiracy theories are tomorrow's news. So maybe we'll hear something about this in the future. I don't know. Good morning, Maddie. How you doing? And Shrapnel is here. Nice to see you. And I said hi. Did I say hi to Jen T? Hello, Jen. What's up? All right. So the powers that be are not even allowing the Hawaiian people to help themselves. Even police are questioning, very sadly enforcing. People need to ignore these orders. Yeah, they're just, I don't know why they're denying, look, here's one of the reasons they're probably denying people access to the area is like the police chief there said the other day, they're in a recovery mode, right? They're trying to recover bodies. They've only, when I talked about the 2 days ago, they'd only gotten through 3% of the town, and they hadn't really even started sweeping buildings yet. And that, they have no idea how many, there's still thousands of people missing, over 1,000. And they're probably just going to find a lot of charred bodies. And so they're trying to keep people out of there so they don't disturb the scene, so they can investigate and find things. So it's very rough. Maui residents say we were winning against fires until the water was shut off. Yeah, now that's very possible. Water shut off because of the fires. We got to be careful when we say, "Oh, someone they purposely shut off the waters." But I guess we'll find out. Share this as much as you can. Some people don't want Maui to get the right attention. Please help the people of Maui. Let's see what this one says. Just, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with some of the conspiracy theories. Although, like I said, a lot of times, as you've noticed in the last since a certain guy with funny hair got elected, that a lot of the conspiracy theories turn out to be tomorrow's news. Anyway.
But that's what I've been told, is that like we can't use our water now. And so I would love to be somewhere else. I don't even particularly want to be here, and I'm losing money by being here. And, you know, the real situation is they are telling us basically that if we leave our house, we can't come back. We don't. So they're deciding what water we drink, what food we eat, where we go, who we talk to. And I can't get out and do my normal job, and I'm getting all this pushback. And
the church,
we
have
nothing to gain from
that
any of this,
a couple days ago,
and plenty to lose. The only reason that I'm continuing to do this is because I think it's important that somebody gets the real story out to the masses, that you guys actually understand what's going on. Because I made the mistake during the Florida thing. I made the mistake of selling one clip. I sold one clip, you know, made about $1,000, sold it to a major media outlet, and then they edited it. They put their own spin on it. What they said had fucking nothing to do with what was actually going on. And so I said, the hell with that. I'm not doing that again. I'm going to do this for free. I'm going to just show what's going on, and I won't be. I've had dozens of major media outlets contact me since I started covering West Maui, wanting my clips, and I've sold it to none of them. So I'm losing money.
Yeah, freaking, that makes sense. Large mains broke under the heat. Yeah, I mean, it's fire does crazy things. So if wherever the fire is, if it's, you know, fucks up the water, then the water's going to shut off, you know. So you don't necessarily say the government did it.
So anybody in the comments who says that I'm doing this for personal gain and that, you know, all this other bullshit, they don't know what they're talking about.
All right, so if you go through this, I'm going to leave this hashtag open. You can run through it and, you know, see some of the videos and commentary, but it's still a terrible situation there. And again, if you have the ability to help or do something, I don't know what you can do. I mean, my audience is tiny, so I don't know, you know, what more I can say about that. All right, real quick, I got a couple more notifications here. Oh no, that's the same ones. Oh, thank you, Jaded Emerald, for retweeting the show. I appreciate it. Oh gosh, I get all these fake accounts checking out my show. All right, let's move on. North Korea is also trending, and it's because of a specific person. Oh, by the way, I got to thank Gunfox61. He's not here. He did a donation over the yesterday, but didn't with no message. It looks like it came through PayPal. So appreciate you sponsoring the show like you often do. I know it's hard for you to be here late, you know, during the show lately, and I appreciate you very much if you see this. North Korea is trending because this young gentleman in the tweet here, just in, North Korea on Wednesday said the U.S. Army private who crossed the border in July had expressed his willingness to seek refuge in the secretive country after becoming disillusioned with American society. Oh boy. Good luck, son. Here's the there's an article in the here's the let's watch the ABC News report on this.
North Korea has released its first public statement on the American soldier in its custody since he bolted across the border last month. The North claims Army Private Travis King was frustrated over inequality and racism in the military and American society. ABC's Martha Rad.
Now remember, he's going to North Korea. Is the news about the latest defector? I'm not sure. Is North Korea on fire? Then who cares, right? No, I'm just laughing at. I'm curious about the propaganda that they're going to put out on this. But anyway.
Edits has more details.
The North Koreans now saying he has expressed his willingness to seek refuge.
Look how
in North
serious
Korea
Martha is.
Country after experiencing what they say is
hello, JB, by the way,
and
racial
amazing
discrimination
in the Army. His family had told us something similar just a few weeks ago, saying he was struggling during his deployment with racism.
Really, in today's Army, with these jagoffs who are making it all about equity and inclusion, I'm sure that's his problem. I'm sure that's his problem. And you know what? If you're in the Army and you defect to North Korea, good luck to you, son. Because I guarantee they ain't look at you any better, than where you're from. You probably, ask. Well, Brittany Griner was in a jail, but ask, ask anyone who gets stuck in North Korea for a while. Are they going to use him as a propaganda tool? Probably. Anyway, enough about this idiot. Now, before I said North Korea says U.S. soldier intruded into North Korea because he was disillusioned at inequality of society. Well, wait till he sees what it's like there. This is what this is blaming. Okay, this is what North Korea looked like because of the United States bombing campaigns against the country. The Western media wants to convince you North Korea is a threat to world peace when its reality is the West that destroys and loots millions. I can't say that our record on war and stuff is all that great, but I tell you what, I don't know that you want to live in North Korea. All right, enough about him. What else we got? And the Trump stuff. I don't know if Mike, if you're still here, I know that's what you really want to talk about, but did you just hit and run? Because I don't, I see your name's up in the chat, and I don't know what Tripe was indicted 7 years ago. So no, I wasn't saying that Mike Savage. Wait a minute, where were you up? Were you up here earlier? Looks like the first time you've talked was here. Oh. Apparently some of the chat got lost. Anyway. So first, a couple things are trending. Trump's Georgia and Fulton County Jail. Because apparently Donald Trump's this is going to be interesting if they're going to try to take him into custody. Because, now, let's see. Let's go through Trump's Georgia first, though. A couple people are tweeting about this. Now, Donald Trump put something on Truth Social. A large, complete, detailed, but irrefutable report on the presidential election fraud which took place in Georgia is almost complete and will be presented by me at a major news conference at 11 a.m. on Monday next week in Bedminster, New Jersey. This is from yesterday. Based on the results of this conclusive report, all charges should be dropped against me and others. There will be complete exoneration. They never went after those that rigged the election. They only went after those that fought to find the riggers. Okay, so Brian Kemp, the governor, I don't know if he's still the governor or not, he's replied to this. The 2020 election in Georgia was not stolen. For nearly 3 years now, anyone with evidence of fraud has failed to come forward under oath to provide anything in court of law. Our elections in Georgia are secure, accessible, and fair, and will continue to be as long as I am governor. The future of our country is at stake in 2024, and that must be our focus. Okay. So Robert Barnes, he's a attorney. He has. Oh shoot! Did I just accidentally do the wrong thing there? Oh, there we go. Robert Barnes first. He replied to Brian Kemp down here, where he says, "As you know, your statement is false, and now under the theory of Georgia prosecutors, you can be indicted. Trump's election contest in Georgia was unlawfully denied at a hearing or a timely trial, and you were too scared to publish the ballots or show the signatures." Rich Barris comes in. Oh, they definitely scared the shit out of him, and he folded like an omelet. So, and then he also replied in a quote tweet saying, "Kemp lies. Trump's Georgia election contest was by law required to be heard within 10 days. Fulton County courts refused. Hence, Trump's election contesting election was never heard. Georgia also promised to produce signature matches and publish ballots, but reneged and did neither." So here's the thing that's going to happen if in this trial in Georgia. First of all, and I didn't talk about it yesterday because I didn't do a show. It's an interesting indictment. Fani Willis basically, I did a little short video on it. Fani Willis has basically indicted Trump for contesting the election. If you read the indictment, and there's 18 co-conspirators. First, she's charging him under RICO laws, meaning like organized crime laws. Okay. And secondly, she is basically saying that because she's charging people with crimes they did outside of the state of Georgia, which I don't know how you can do that. I don't think you can charge people with crimes they do outside your state, but she is. Because she said, because some people are talking about it. Just talking about it is a crime, according to this indictment. I don't know how this indictment is going to fly. Unfortunately, the judge in the case is in Fulton County and seems to be on board with it. But it's a really, really weird case. And it is so, like, even when they say when Trump was talking to Kemp about, you need to find me 11,000 votes. I mean, if you listen to it, he's not saying to find 11,000 illegal votes. He's saying count the ballots. We're only down 11,000. You need to verify this. But they're treating it as though Trump told him to go produce 11,000 some votes. It's the weirdest. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm not a legal person, so I don't know. But so lots of people talking about it. If you want to go through some of these, articles here, let's see what Dershowitz said. Dershowitz is an interesting fellow. He's supposedly a Democrat, but he's always sticking up for Republicans. So I always find that curious. Him, Jonathan Turley, things like that. But, Dershowitz, for whatever reason, the Democrat who's always sticking up for Republicans, which is fine. I don't care. If he's right, he's right. I don't care what his party affiliation is, but here's Dershowitz.
Well, first of all, nobody should take it all seriously. The fact that there was a grand jury indictment, it means nothing.
By the way, this grand jury indictment, this is weird. So this grand jury, I think, met for a total of 10 hours. There's thousands of documents, whatever, all this stuff that they met. The grand jury indicted Trump in 10 hours and 19 other code. They indicted 19 people in 10 hours. You would think it would take a little longer.
The prosecutor who indicted, the best evidence of that is that it was on his website before the grand jury even voted. Now, the whole strategy of all these four cases is to get a conviction before the election, even if they're going to lose on appeal. I used to teach my students, many of them future prosecutors, if you bring a RICO case, that increases your chances of winning a trial and losing on appeal.
Yep.
The same thing is true with conspiracy and other cases involving mental states. And so all four of these cases are designed to get quick convictions in jurisdictions.
That's what they want, and they keep talking. We want a speedy trial in the not the documents case, the January 6th case. We want a speedy trial. Well, there's a lot of evidence you got to go through. I don't know about in election year, but anyway,
heavily loaded against Donald Trump, and these prosecutors don't care as much as prosecutors generally do about having the convictions reversed on appeal, because that will happen after the election, which only goes to prove what I've been arguing now for months. If you're going after the man who's running against your incumbent president, you would darn well better have the strongest case possible. And these are among the four, at least three of them, three weakest cases I've ever seen.
And they're totally on all the cases except for the one in New York. Or excuse me, not the one in New York. No, the one in the documents case are all about what he thought, what he did, what he said. It's all thought crime, and we don't have thought crimes in the United States
against any candidate. We don't know about the fourth, but it seems like it's very much like the D.C. case. And if you're going after the man running for president against your person, you have to have the strongest case. Otherwise, it becomes a banana republic. Anybody.
Okay, this is 6. There's 5 more minutes that I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but that's, Now, it's in the Hill, the charges against Trump that Trump is facing in Georgia could be potentially his most legally perilous, as the state has much more difficult process for a pardon to be issued than in the other jurisdictions where he's facing charges. Look. Why are they talking about pardons? they should be talking about constitutionality. That's what they should be talking about. Trump's Georgia phone call was perfect. Globalist targets Trump with witch hunt after witch hunt because America First is beating globalism at the polls. Trump's Georgia lawyer donated to Fannie Willis's DA campaign. Oh, good God. GOP presidential candidate responded to the Georgia indictment. Let's check this one out. DeSantis and other GOP candidates responded to Trump's Georgia indictment. Ron DeSantis says, so I haven't had a chance to read it all, but I will tell you Atlanta has a huge problem with crime right now, and there has been an approach to crime which has been less than exacting. I think there have been criminals that have been let out that shouldn't have been let out, so they're now doing an inordinate amount of resources to try to shoehorn this contest over the 2020 election in a RICO statute, which was really designed to be able to go after organized crime, not necessarily to go after political activities. And so I think it's an example of the criminalization of politics. I don't think that this is something that's good for the country, but I think a lot of Republican voters are looking at some of the things that have happened, whether it's the Department of Justice, whether it's some of the things that have happened locally. And I think the question is, okay, what are we going to do about it? I've already said, as president, we are going to end the weaponization of federal agencies like the DOJ and FBI. We have a new director. We'll have new leadership at the DOJ. We are going to make sure that there's a single standard of justice in this country. Now, in terms of some of these local DAs in Florida, we've actually suspended two, one in Tampa, one in Orlando, over the last year. Failure to follow their duties and responsibilities. And as president, I will lean in against some of the local prosecutors if they are not following the law or if they are abandoning their duty to enforce the law evenly. So I think that I don't know how it's going to affect anything politically. For me, at the end of the day, it's about let's get this country in a good direction. So I read it faster because it took him a long time to say that. Tim Scott, we've seen a legal system being weaponized against political opponents. It is un-American and unacceptable. Vivek. Here we go again. Another disastrous Trump indictment. It's downright pathetic. The Fulton County publicly posted the indictment on his website even before the grand jury. Oh, by the way, they denied that they posted it in advance. But and they say, oh, this is a fake one. Somebody posted a fake one, right? Well, then you compare the two, and they're pretty much exactly the same. A couple different wording changes, but they're almost identical. But there's a little more in the real indictment. So yeah, they post it. They're just lying. They're lying. If you want to read the other reactions, Chris Christie. Oh, now Chris Christie cannot stand Trump, but he says he also called it unnecessary. He explained that local prosecutors would typically defer to the Department of Justice when their investigations overlap, questioning why Georgia prosecutors did not do so in this case, given that Trump was indicted federally this month regarding Special Counsel Jack Smith's probe into the January 6th Capitol riot. He said, I think that this conflict essentially covered by federal indictment, not with the level of detail that they covered in this, but that's a stylistic thing. He said election interference is election interference. It's been charged by Jack Smith, and most of the time what you see here will be a state court deferring to federal prosecution, especially if that federal indictment has already been issued. So I think it was unnecessary. So anyway, he thinks Trump should be he thinks Trump should have been indicted for January 6th. And anyway, Asa thinks Trump should go away. Larry Elder called the indictment unfair. I didn't even know Larry Elder was a presidential candidate. So where'd that come from? Anyway, let's move on to the other part, though. Fulton County Jail is also trending because here's Fannie Willis talking about Donald Trump. Now, this is interesting because this makes you wonder if she wants to put him in jail right now.
That rather than abide by Georgia's legal process for election challenges, the defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise to overturn
a
Georgia's
criminal racketeering enterprise.
Election.
Really? So it came down there and they challenged it. Georgia didn't follow the Georgia procedure, and they're calling him a criminal enterprise.
Result. Subsequent to the indictment, as is the normal process in Georgia law, the grand jury issued arrest warrants for those who are charged. I am giving the defendants the opportunity to voluntarily surrender no later than noon on Friday, the 25th day of August, 2023.
So, by next Friday, they're supposed to turn themselves in. Now, I'm curious what that process is going to look like. And who's going to have to stay, and who's should I stay or should I go now? Who's going to stay and who's going to go? Curious. In case you missed it, yet another inmate at the Fulton County Jail died this week. Apparently over 500 inmates are sleeping on the floor. This is the same county spending all of their resources in Georgia getting Trump. Oh boy. Inside Fulton County Jail, where Trump and his 18 co-defendants will be booked, notorious for scabies outbreaks and unhygienic conditions, ex-president must surrender there by next Friday. And this is Occupy Democrats. The mob boss and his minions are all criminally charged for trying to keep him in office against the will of the American people. Oh, well, aren't you special? And there's pictures of all the defendants. Yeah, this shit's crazy. A couple black people in there. Trump's got some soul in his crew. Anyway, so that's why Fulton County Jail is trending. Moving on. I'm gonna finish the show today. I'm just gonna do that. Now we're in the main topic. Let's get to the main topic. Let me get rid of this person though. I do have, by the way, some articles open that I'm not going to get to, but some articles about the election case in Georgia. If you want to read those, you probably already heard all about it, but there's a few good articles here between Reuters, Breitbart, New York Post, and a couple others. Wait, what the hell is this? Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. All right, so the main topic today is the Inflation Reduction Act. The Inflation Reduction Act is a year old today. Yay! Woohoo! You know that we're excited about that, right? And the President of the United States issued a statement on Twitter, and I think what did he do? Oh, he has a picture of the signing. So on Twitter, Joe Biden decided, well, his staff, because Joe Biden doesn't tweet. He doesn't tweet at all. But here's Joe Biden tweeting the celebration of the Inflation Reduction Act. Here's what he says. Over the years since I signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law, we brought down inflation, lowered energy and healthcare costs, and made corporations pay their fair share. Their fair share. We're just getting started, he says. Now, lots of people have a lot to say about this. Lots of people had to say about this. Nikki Haley, the so-called Inflation Reduction Act is a communist manifesto filled with tax hikes and green subsidies that benefit China.
China is asshole.
And make America more dependent on Beijing. While Joe Biden cozies up to Xi Jinping, American families are footing the bill for all this spending. Yeah, I have no idea what exactly in this bill was reducing inflation. They're saying that, basically it's a Green New Deal bill, but all the money that they're spending means they have to, the printers are going, the printers are straining to pay for this bill. Now, he did make a little interesting faux pas though about during this. Let's see. I opened this. So this is him from doing the bill. We saw this one already. But when he was talking about this at, I don't know where he's at. He said he himself, quote, "I wish I hadn't called it that," Biden said, referring to the legislation that was signed into law last year. President Joe Biden acknowledged at a campaign event in Utah that the Inflation Reduction Act signed last year didn't actually have much to do with reducing inflation. "I wish I hadn't signed that." What, do they have video? They don't have video. I want video. I wish I hadn't signed that, Biden said at the event in Park City, Utah. According to the press pool report, it has less to do with reducing inflation than it does providing for alternatives that generate economic growth. And so we're now in a situation where if you have to take a look at what we're doing in the Inflation Reduction Act, we're literally reducing the cost of people being able to meet their basic needs. No, they're not. They're touting this like it reduced inflation. Yeah, it reduced it from the highs of 9% from a year ago down to 3.2%, which is still higher than at any point during the Trump presidency. And nothing's come down. It's just slowed the rate of growth from year to year. Now, sure, some prices are lower than last year and some aren't. Gas seems to be going up. Of course, that's a normal thing in August because it's a big vacation month. People get their last vacations in. There's supply and demand of fuel, of people taking their little road trips and flights and whatnot. There's more people travel in August because they're getting it in before school starts. Well, that causes the price of gas to go up. But, still, it's still way higher than it was the year he came into office. Or the year before that. Or the year before that. Or the year before that. The Inflation Reduction Act was signed into law in August of 2022, received a lot of pushback from GOP lawmakers who alleged the legislation was filled with demands that had nothing to do with bringing inflation down. The act contained $740 billion with a B, with $80 billion going to expand the IRS, had more taxes on corporations to invest in climate change and health care, and had people enrolled in the Affordable Care Act plan to receive more financial assistance. Biden originally said a month before he signed the legislation into law that the act would bring down inflation, according to Fox News. The Inflation Reduction Act is the strongest bill you can pass, Biden said, according to the network. It would lower inflation, cut the deficit, reduce healthcare costs, tackle the climate crisis, and promote energy security. Well, it hasn't cut the deficit at all. It's increased it. Just not as much as COVID did. I'm just saying. So I don't know what he's touting here. Now, let's see if I got the video here. And even so, Maisie Hirono from Hawaii was talking about this apparently on This Is CNN, and for some reason the video's not working. Did this video get heated? Maybe, possibly. Let's see if it pops up right. Oh, there we go. Nope. Oh, is that working? Let's try it. All right, here we go.
I think that we very, very much need to acknowledge that climate change is upon us. There are whole states, by the way, Jake, where you can't even use the words climate change because they still have a hit in the sand attitude.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
For example, the Inflation Reduction Act provided some $300 billion
Has nothing to do with Hawaii.
Climate change and to move us away from.
That's not why there's fire in Hawaii.
Yes, there is more that needs to be done, and there will be lessons learned from this ongoing tragedy for the other counties as well as the county of Maui. Clearly, wildfires is an occurrence in Hawaii. People don't realize that that acres of.
This wasn't a wildfire. This was not. Whether it was. It was not a wildfire. I mean, maybe I have a different definition of wildfire, but to me, if wildfire is a fire that starts in a remote area, in a wild area, you cannot say, you don't call the fire of Chicago a wildfire. In whatever, 1918, whatever year that was. This was a fire in a city. And I bet they're going to figure out that fire that they didn't get completely put out had something to do with it. That's going to be my guess. Okay. But she says the Inflation Reduction Act wasn't about reducing inflation. It was a climate change act. And we all know that. So anyway, but then you see, here's the thing. Then you get people like this. Okay. This is this guy puts this graph up here. And again, there's some things that they're claiming that have happened that there's no way they could have happened yet due to this Inflation Reduction Act. But here's the kind of shit you get. Look at that. Inflation has collapsed since Democrats passed the Inflation Reduction Act exactly 1 year ago. Reminder, every single Republican in Congress voted no and voted to keep your inflation high. No. This again, this has the inflation dropping probably has nothing to do with the Inflation Reduction Act. It was unnaturally high. And yes, people going back to work probably helps a little bit. But notice look at the years. This is 20 right here. If you can see my little cursor, I don't know if you can see the cursor or not. But if you look at this graph, if you look at the time during the Trump years when inflation completely dropped. And then all of a sudden, 2021, when did Biden go to office? 2021. Can we blame this on him or not? Or is inflation a lagging indicator also? But look, this is all Biden when it's going up. And now it's still not down to where it was. And I don't know if this graph is accurate as far as the years here. But it would seem that during the Trump years, this inflation was trending down always. Spikes during the Biden years. Also, this is interesting. The Hill's headline, the Inflation Reduction Act and bipartisan infrastructure law could save Americans up to $38 billion on electricity costs over the remainder of the decade, the Energy Department projected. Bullshit. That is complete bullshit. First of all, the Inflation Reduction Act. Through the decade, you might lower your energy costs? No, it won't. Your energy costs are going to be going up and up and up and up. All this supposed renewable energy that doesn't work in most places is not going to help your energy costs. But that's what they're rejecting. Also, they're saying, what was the other one? There was one that they made a really crazy claim. All right, let it sink in. 1 year ago, inflation was 8.3%. Now inflation is at 3.2%, which is more than 5% decrease in 12 months. Did it work? Is it down that ratio around the world? Probably. And also the other one is that they kept saying that who was it? Who's the Speaker of the House? Hakeem Jeffries said something to the effect that Joe Biden lowered prescription drug prices. Here it is. Claiming that he capped insulin at $35. Oh, you mean that thing that he by executive order, he got rid of Trump's insulin price reduction deal, got rid of it, and then came back and basically put it back in place? Oh, really? Really? Biden recently said he wished he hadn't named it the Inflation Reduction Act. What he did because it had more to do with investing in growth. Wow. How smart is that when the Fed's fighting inflation? Here's David reveals 60% of the money is going to foreign companies. This is interesting. Let's see here.
And then you have the insane policies that this place did over the previous couple years when the left controlled it. You know, when you had a Democrat House, Democrat Senate, Democrat President. Do you remember the Inflation Reduction Act? Insane name. Had nothing to do with reducing inflation. It was spending money. It kept inflation going. But about 2 hours ago, the Wall Street Journal published an analysis of these grants that they're giving away to big industries. Now, they're in the clean energy industries, but they're still really big industries. Well, it turns out the vast majority of the cash this government's giving out from last year's Inflation Reduction Act is going to foreign companies.
Oh, great.
Yep. Our taxpayer dollars that were supposed to help us build a U.S. clean industry or clean energy industry
and infrastructure
functionally structure. 60% of clean energy projects awarded from the IRA, Inflation Reduction Act, are foreign-owned businesses. Yay, policy. So you see we're borrowing $63,000 a second. We're crushing our kids, our grandkids, and many of your own retirements because they're the ones that have to pay this debt back. And we're doing projects funded by last year's legislation that was only supposed to cost about $280 billion only. And then Goldman Sachs comes in and says, nah, the spending on all these grants and these giveaways and this, these supplements function could be $1.2 trillion. CBO comes in and doubles their estimate. And now we find 60% of that money is going to foreign companies. This is not what we were promised. The president, the Democrats promised us this was to create a U.S.-based infrastructure.
You are so right. Those ain't real, dude.
The majority of their money, our money, is now going to foreign companies. Great job, guys. And then
that's a good point. Yeah, repeal it. Well, unfortunately, to repeal it, we got to have people in there who will repeal it. And, they can do this in the House, which they should, symbolically, even if just symbolically. But it ain't getting through the Senate, and Sponge Brain Shitpants is not going to sign it. So that's it. But there's still, a lot of people, this guy's still pushing this bullshit. I don't know who needs to hear this, but the funding the Inflation Reduction Act passed the IRS to catch wealthy tax cheats and improve services for taxpayers is already working. Bullshit. They always go after tax people. Whatever. So, good news. USA solar capacity will be 669 gigawatts in 2033. Really? Does that help us now? And how much is that going to cost? I guarantee you it's going to cost. It's going to end up costing more, even with renewables. They'll find a way. So anyway, yeah, people out here, happy birthday to the Inflation Reduction. It's sickening. I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. But yes, the rate of inflation has come down slightly, but prices are still going up compared to a year ago. It has improved. I still know what the price of butter is and eggs and gasoline because the shit I buy every day. Those prices haven't gone down. Especially butter. I couldn't believe it. It's like butter's like $5-6 a pound now for 4 sticks of butter. I mean, that's insane. So anyway, I'm going to leave the rest of this to you. There are a lot of information on the indictment of Donald Trump that I didn't get to yesterday because I couldn't get my shit together. And also there's an article about a raid on a newspaper in Kansas. Apparently somebody at this newspaper supposedly tipped off to some public official that had a DUI, and the police in that town raided the newspaper. Let's finish with this one. I'm going to go one more story because this one's insane. And you may have seen it, you may have not, but it is crazy. On August 11th, the entire police department of Marion, Kansas, performed a Gestapo-like raid of the home of 98-year-old Joan Meyer, co-owner of the local newspaper, the Marion County Record. She's 98 years old. They raided her house, resulting in her death from a heart attack the next day. The elderly woman who co-owned the newspaper with her son Eric was subjected to a raid by 5 officers and 2 sheriff's deputies on Friday, which caused her to be stressed beyond her limits and overwhelmed by hours of shock and grief. Eric, 69, has bashed the officers for their Gestapo tactics in an attempt to seize the information that hadn't even gone to the press as yet. Police defended their actions. Ms. Meyer could not eat or sleep after the traumatized hours-long ordeal. She was crying while police raided her home and took her Alexa smart speaker and died 1 day later. It appears the police also that day raided the newspaper's offices as well as the home of one of its reporters. And why? All the evidence suggests this is a case of a local businesswoman working in teamwork with the police and a local judge to harass and destroy a newspaper. So there's a second link here that said, according to Meyer, a retired University of Illinois journalism professor, the raid came after a confidential source leaked sensitive documents to the newspaper about a local restaurateur, Carrie Newell. The source, Meyer said, provided evidence that Newell had been convicted of a DUI and was driving without a license, a fact that could spell horrible trouble for her liquor license and catering business. Meyer, however, said he ultimately decided not to publish the story about Newell after questioning the motivation of the source. Instead, he said he alerted the police about the information. We thought we were being set up, Meyer said about the confidential information. So if Newell hoped to keep her DUI and illegal driving out of the public scrutiny by sending the police on this newspaper, she has failed horribly. Instead, the goon-like tactics resulted in the death of an old woman and have encouraged every media source nationwide to publicize it. So good job, lady. Moreover, this was a priori attack. This term was once known by every American when freedom of speech and rule of law dominated our culture. The government and police were not allowed to take action unless a crime had actually been committed. It was considered not only an illegal act or illegal to act against someone because that person might commit a crime. It's also considered immoral and unethical. For a police department to do it as recently as 15 years ago would have gotten it in big legal and financial trouble, but somehow no longer. In this case, the newspaper not only had not published the story, it acted within the law and let the police know that someone might have illegally released confidential information to it. Proof of this can be heard during an August 7th, 2023 Marion City Council meeting where Carrie Newell rose to complain about the release of her information, and both council members, councilmembers and Eric Meyer of the Marion County Record state unequivocally that they did not obtain the information. It was sent to them, and they have not released it to anyone else and have been working with the police on the issue. Despite this public testimony, the police and Newell decided to move against the newspaper in a manner no different than a gang of thugs. Yeah, this is bullshit. And obviously I've been becoming more and more skeptical of these types of raids. We talked about the case in where was that, where they shot the guy that supposedly was making threats against Biden, where they could have just got him while he was at his mailbox, but instead they raided his house at 6:15 in the morning. And even in the case of Breonna Taylor, whether or not there was a warrant for that correct department, whether or not there was, a warrant for her, which there was not, or for her boyfriend, which was a completely different case that they broke into the apartment for. The idea that they're coming in with guns blazing at a really bad hour of the day, when people are going to be much more susceptible to be thinking, what the hell's going on, and react irrationally. It shouldn't happen, okay? There are certainly ways they can find people when they're on the street, when they leave their apartment, they can, instead of going in, and in this case, this one is not even, there's no rationale for them to raid a 98-year-old woman's house or the newspaper. That's we have the Pentagon Papers, the New York Times, we have federal court cases about this. That if they obtain information, as long as they didn't obtain it illegally, this is not something you can do. So anyway, whatever, there's no such thing as a hypothetical question. Oh, you're watching my other channel. Yeah, go check out Marty's Big Journey. So anyway, that's it, guys. I got to go. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, people who made it. We got, we had 22, 24 people here at peak. 25, whatever. So thanks. Hit the like button before you go, and share the stream even though it's over. Check it. Have other people join us in the future. And if you want to sponsor the show, Streamlabs 24 hours a day, Venmo, Cash App, all in the description. And during the show, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, I'll take it all because I need it. So anyway, thank you so much for making my day just by being here. Ladies and gentlemen, gotta go. My name is P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.